And I might have to hop out to do some stuff here. So welcome to Homefront Sit Rep with Willis
and Megs. Don't forget about Blaze.
We're just a couple of veterans having a good time talking about what's on our minds.
And maybe yours.
You can find us on Apple, Amazon, or Spotify.
Or wherever you find your favorite podcasts.
What's going on, everybody? Rich, how are you tonight?
Doing well. All things considered, I'm in the state of my birth for a funeral tomorrow. Came up seeing family, and we're doing a family dinner right after this. So it's the reunions we always go to. That for most of us, it's the only time we see our families. But this is why I'm here.
Oh yes, sir. James, how are you?
Man, if I was anybody, it'd be two of me.
Dexter, how are you, sir?
Man, I am doing well, brother. Absolutely well.
Awesome. Mr. Ty Cobb, I know you're still there. How are you today? I think he's still there. But anyway, so everybody, my name's Willis. I'm the host of Homefront Sit Rep. Today we're doing Tip of the Spear of Veterans Roundtable. This is going to be a once a month thing where we bring in veteran podcasters, veterans, and talk about what's going on within the world today. The topics are endless. So everybody introduce who you are and who you represent. We'll start out with James up top. How are you, James?
I'm good. I'm James Thornton. I'm an ambassador for Warrior Rounds. Warrior Rounds is a veteran nonprofit organization based out of Nashville, Tennessee. We bring vets, combat vets, Gold Star families, first responders, cancer survivors. We bring them down to Nashville and put them in a small room with an accomplished singer-songwriter. Now, most of our songwriters, I shouldn't say most, a lot of our singer-songwriters are Grammy award-winning songwriters. So they sit in a room with that warrior all day, and the warrior tells their story. Together, they write a song. About 7 or 8 weeks later, we have a free live concert at the Hard Rock Cafe in downtown Nashville, where we present their story and song to the world.
Awesome. Thank you, James. Rich, let's go with you, buddy.
All right, I'm Rich LaMonica, U.S. Army veteran, host of the Misfit Nation show. Been doing a podcast for 3 years now. Getting a lot of feedback, so some of those mics or speakers come. But hosting for about 3 years now. 117th episode went out this week. It's a great ride doing it, getting to meet many veterans and first responders like all y'all on here. And my job, I get to train soldiers, so it's like I've never left the military, so I get to still joke and be an ass at work like we did as a soldier, because everyone in the office are veterans as well. So it's just like having a locker room. It's awesome.
Awesome.
Your number is 2974.
All right, Mr. Dexter, go ahead and introduce yourself, sir.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Name's Dexter Pitts. I'm the host of the I Am Pitts podcast and also the author of I Am Pitts, Memoirs of an American Patriot. I've been podcasting now going on 3 years next year. And I care about my veterans, and I care about my fellow American citizens and everything going on in America. And I primarily use my show. It's kind of for an outlet for me to kind of express frustrations with everything going on with America, and also try my best to interview other authors, veteran authors. Since I wrote a book, one thing I love to do is get other veteran stories out there as well, because my story is just one of millions of stories out there, and I want to give everybody a chance that has a story to kind of get it out there.
Awesome. Appreciate it. Ty, you're up, brother. Go ahead and tell everybody who you are and who you're representing tonight, sir.
Cobb. I live in Houston, Texas. I am one of the 4 co-hosts of the Triple Threat Vet podcast. I also produce a couple other podcasts, one being the So Smoking Gooder Show. I served in the Army for 18 years and deployed a bunch of times. And for a lot of the same sentiment that I'm hearing from you gentlemen is the same reason we do the show. It helps us just as much as it would help anybody of the information we put out. So it seems like a lot of the things that we're doing is aligned. So thank you, David, for putting this roundtable together, and I hope that we can do some good across different state lines. And then,
yes, sir.
Mr. Officer, please don't get mad at me for driving and podcasting at the same time. Sorry, brother.
Tell me your social right now. Need your blood type?
What's that license plate? Got it.
Yeah, what's that license plate of that vehicle you driving? Make and model.
Direction to travel and speed.
Oh, shit. So, guys, I want to thank you guys for coming on, doing this Veterans Roundtable. I think it's something that was needed within the veteran community, military community in general, because there's a lot of things that go on that we don't really get to, speak our voice on, like what's going on right now in Israel. How crazy is that shit? I got a nephew that's down at Fort Campbell with the 101st, and they're on standby right now, is what he told me. The 82nd Airborne got activated, and they're on standby. So for me, being an uncle of somebody who's serving in the military right now, seeing what's going on over there, I mean, it's crazy, thinking that, here he is 24 years old and he's got 2 young kids at home. And what would happen if he got over there and something happened to him? It's just, man, it's crazy. So go ahead, James.
You know what? United States has been holding Israel's hands for many, many years. Pull out of there, let them do what they got to do, and sit back and watch it on the TV. That's my opinion.
I don't recall them being there with us in Iraq.
No, I agree. So
remember when we went into Iraq? When we went to Iraq and Afghanistan, they were held back by us, because if they came in, then everyone would have attacked them. That's the only reason they didn't come in. So you can't hold that against them. That's a geopolitical thing. The geopolitical energies to affect your nephew or your relative at Fort Campbell. Tell them to stop by my office next week. I'll get him trained up and ready to go. Building 62 to 47th Street.
I could be wrong, but in Somalia in 1993, I saw Romanians, I saw Canadians, I saw Egyptians. We had Tunisians. Hell, we even had some Pakis. I could be wrong. I don't remember seeing Israelis.
Also a different world at the time. Remember, 93 to now is a way different world.
It is. Absolutely.
So let's ask this question. With Iran and all of them over there that's sticking their nose in what's going on, how likely is a major war to be around the corner?
The threat's there.
Yeah.
The threat's there. 100% the threat is there. Now, again, we don't have a very strong government at this time. So what's going to happen with us? Who knows? It's like a flip of the quarter to me. But the threat is 100% there.
See, what concerns me with this all is our combat readiness status as a military and as a nation. And we are not ready. We had all our top guys forced out because of COVID. And then we have the biggest recruiting, deficit in man, and we've had in years. American kids are too fat, too many issues to join the military. They don't have the patriotism to join the military. And then we're focusing on all the wrong things. The military exists to be a lethal arm of the United States government to force our will on other countries. The problem is we're no longer focusing on lethality. We are focused on inclusion and diversity and, and inclusiveness, man. And like, I keep seeing videos of drag queens in the army and all this stuff. And I'm just like, man, listen, what somebody does in their personal life, we should not care.
Absolutely.
But are you ready to fight the next war? And we are not ready to fight this war. I mean, our resources, we don't have the resources. I mean, we've given all of our money and stuff away to other countries. Our petroleum, our gas and all that, man, we don't have it. We sold it all to China. And so, like, we have this battle that's coming, and my biggest concern is, man, are we ready? And I just don't think we are.
Yeah, I would agree with you. This generation of American soldiers, I got out in 2004. And I tell you what, when I got out, the American military as a whole was a lean, mean fighting machine. I mean, I know my brothers that I served with 2nd Battalion, 8th Marines, the 1st Battalion, 8th Marines, man, they were some gung-ho, let's get some motherfuckers. But a lot of these younger generation, lack of terms, they're pussyfied nowadays, for better terms. And I know, Rich, you do a lot of training down there at Fort Campbell. What do you see coming through with this younger generation?
I definitely see a wave of I don't want to do things soldiers. I think when the first thing that really shocked me was seeing the male were the tips in his hair and making sure his nails were manicured and having shiny nails and stuff. And I had to leave the classroom for a minute to my computer to come back in and teach again, just because I wanted to start knife handing and doing that thing. Getting to the field just weeks ago in the unit on very real threats that are going on in the world. I gave them the equipment to counter these threats, and that was day one. Taught them the classes, taught them everything, did a run through. The next day was going to be live. We go live against them. They don't bring that equipment because it's too heavy. And I am able to drop munitions on them the whole day, all day long, filming them and drop munitions on them because they do not want to carry the equipment.
Are you still in? Where are you working at doing this? I'm at
Fort Campbell as a civilian.
Oh, civilian. Okay.
Yeah.
In 91 and 95, we were the world's best, most fit alcoholics, period.
Yeah.
And
Amen.
we were ready to bite your whole freaking face off. Just somebody just tell us, go do it. You're okay, get out of the way.
And we didn't even know why.
Yeah.
Didn't have to. We were told to do it.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. So I was infantry. I was a ground pounder, I had to carry my gear, and then plus I had to carry our, mortar rounds. I had to carry extra machine gun ammo. That's stuff that we had to do, and we had no choice. If we had to do that, and for them to say,
I tell this story all the time. As each generation goes through, you talk about the different conflicts, the different wars. We learned so much from the mistakes of Vietnam. When we had that 17-hour firefight in Somalia, you're talking about inside of a city, not out in the jungle, in the trees. It's in the middle, from house to house, building to building, floor to floor, room to room. Not one incident of friendly fire. Not one. Now, please tell me these knuckleheads out there today will go out there and spend 17 hours in a direct firefight and, God forbid, not have one case of friendly fire.
Yeah. And you hear about that quite a bit where, so just recently there was a news article that was on LinkedIn, a Marine down at Camp Lejeune with 2.6 killed 2 other Marines. What the fuck is going on where you got brothers shooting other brothers? I mean, to me, that's fucking beyond crazy.
That would have never happened in our time.
Oh, no. It definitely wouldn't have. Wouldn't have happened. Man, I tell you what, my phone. All right, I didn't really want to bring this up, and I'm really going to try to keep it to a minimal. Veteran service organizations out there, and veterans in general. If you are, how do I do this gently? If you're out there and you're a veteran and you're rated from the VA, don't lie about what's going on with you in your personal life, because karma will catch you. Unfortunately, today my phone has blown up crazily, and I was like, "You got to be kidding me!" And you know that's going to put a black eye on veterans with the VA system around the country. You know they're going to scrutinize everything. So yeah, it's just crazy. DP, I hope you're staying safe out there on that beat, man.
Absolutely. What did I just mention? Y'all talking about the Kentucky Veterans Club thing?
Yeah, but we didn't bring any names up. But yeah.
Okay. Yeah. That's why I didn't drop a name, because I didn't know.
Yeah, we're talking about how it was going to put a black eye on the veteran community. Unfortunately, when you're dealing with a VA, you need to be completely honest with them and not try to get one over, because eventually they will catch up to you, especially if you're in the public eye.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And you know, I just started this ambassadorship with Warrior Rounds about 7 months ago, and it's really blown up for us. It really has. They've been out since 2018. They don't need my help, but I'm an old, ugly guy sitting at home all the time, so I figured, what the hell, I'll go do something. But, you know, this situation that we're talking about right now, I was told to stay away. I have one simple rule when I deal with other VSOs. You follow your mission statement, period. Nobody's mission statement says I'm in it for the money. If I see or smell greed, I take my toys and I go home. I don't want to have nothing to do with it.
Yeah, definitely. Glad to see you're at home, Mr. Taka.
I made it, sir.
All right.
Still getting a ticket.
Yeah,
what?
that green Chevy Silverado.
Check the mail in about 3 days. Check the mail in about 3 days. There, Ty.
And the tickets will be for distracted driving, podcasting and driving.
I endangered the whole freaking road then.
If you get a letter from
I am
Louisville
sorry,
Metropolitan
Officer Pitts.
Police Department, don't open it. Don't open it. Just throw it away. I didn't get it.
So, Ty, you've been kind of quiet since we started. I know you were driving and everything and focusing on the road. So, what do you got to bring on?
So as far as fratricide not happening all the way back to Vietnam, it absolutely did happen. It may not have been reported as much, but it happened in OIF 1 when I was in Kuwait. So with I think his name was
Muhammad.
Yeah, exactly. He threw a couple frag grenades in a tent when I was at another camp over.
Yeah, I was talking about. And
Yeah,
please don't get me wrong, Ty. I'm not pointing fingers at all. I'm just saying that 17-hour firefight that we were in.
Right. Yeah.
It didn't happen then. I don't know. You know, you're right about that with Muhammad. You're right.
But so as far as like a generational thing, I think our generation was different because we didn't have as much information at our fingertips. And I think right now things are too lackadaisical with discipline, maybe in the military, maybe in society as a whole. I mean, I'm sure Officer Pitts could talk about that. I'm sure anyone that's DA civilian can talk about that. People are not willing to listen to anybody these days, whether it be about, what's the weather outside? Nobody wants to hear that. Or what's the climate in the Middle East? Nobody wants to hear anybody else's opinion. Everybody knows everything. And it's a societal thing right now, not necessarily generational.
And you're
I
right.
don't know if you remember, but a couple of years ago, the Army decided that they were extending boot camp from the traditional 9 weeks, and I think one station unit training, OSEP for infantry, they extended it all the way out to 24 months, I believe, or something like that, because they were having 24 weeks, because they were having so much issues with discipline issues from the soldiers coming into the new soldiers coming into the Army, man. It was that bad that they extended it from 14 to 23 weeks, dude. That tells you something right there. And it seems like they've not learned from any of this because we continue to lower standards because they need bodies in uniforms.
Right.
And we're sacrificing, lethality just for, just to have some quality or quantity.
Right.
So Will Carmona says, "Wow, there's a cop. I'm out." Laugh out loud.
Shout out to Will Carmona. He's a chief warrant officer, still active in the Army. I actually know him from a couple schools. Awesome gentleman. Thanks for watching, Will.
I'm not really a cop. This is an early Halloween costume.
You're rocking it good, DP. You're rocking it good, brother.
Hey guys, David Rubin here. I don't know if you guys seen my podcast with David Rubin on. He runs the Hero Strong Foundation out of Florida. He focuses on veterans, fire, police, medical,
teachers,
you name it. He focuses on them, educators, and he wants to bring the love back to the community with policing, firefighters, educators. Because without educators, without fire, without police, without EMS, medical technicians, and stuff like that, the world can't revolve. So if you haven't checked out David Rubin and Hero Strong, dude, his attitude, his mentality it's infectious. So definitely check out Hero Strong if you haven't. We are working on getting Hero Strong up here in Kentucky. I would like to see it go nationwide just because what he stands for. So definitely check out Hero Strong. So David Rubin, thank you for jumping on, and bless you, sir.
And Willis, like you said a while ago with the VSOs, my opinion is this: how strong would we be if we band together? All VSOs supposedly have one goal.
Yeah.
And that's to help those folks. It doesn't matter how you help them. We're going to build them a porch. We're going to put a new bathroom in. We're going to help them get through this PTSD crap, whatever. All the goals are still the same. How powerful could we be if we banded together? But one problem you have is when that daggone greed word comes in.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I agree with you 100%. If veteran service organizations, instead of getting upset or mad that the veteran that has been with them for a year decided to step out and go to another service organization, they should be able to. I mean, for one, like you said, we're stronger together than we are individually, and that goes for humans in general. There's the love is not there when it comes to supporting each other. It doesn't matter if you're white, black, pink, purple, whatever fucking color. As long as you're loving each other equally, that's all that matters. And we're stronger together. And as long as mainstream media is keeping us separate, then we'll never be as strong as we need to. Because government knows that we're weaker divided. So they want to keep us that way.
It's just like going to war. We have an objective. We need to defeat this particular enemy. You can't just send the infantry in. You can't just send the armor in. You can't just send the airplanes. You can't send field artillery in by themselves. But if you put them all together with one goal, we just ass whip somebody.
Oh, yeah.
And as a bunch of respected, doing the right thing VSOs, the more we band together, the stronger that we'll all be. And we will all reach that goal quicker and easier than we've done before. For example, you guys do podcasts where people talk. We bring people down and write songs. Well, maybe they don't want to go in a little bitty room with a singer-songwriter. Well, how about they get on one of your podcasts and talk? Because we all know with PTSD, if you talk, it helps just a little bit.
Yeah.
And the more you talk, the more it helps. So it may not be my organization. It might be Todd's. It might be Willis's. It might be Rich. It might be DP. But if we all work together, we can accomplish this goal a lot faster, and we will benefit more people. That's just my 2 cents.
Oh, yeah.
When you hit the nail on the head there, a lot of the VSOs, they don't all target the same, I guess, symptom, the same symptom or the same thing to help a veteran with. But in the end, the thing is to help veterans. And for some, it's, I don't want to help. I don't want to say who else can help you because you might not want to be with me anymore. And that's what hurts the community. And for years, I worked in one for 2 years and only worked there 2 years because I was too hard headed to quit it the first year because I didn't want to be a statistic. So I stayed there 2 years. And in those 2 years, that agency went from a respected one for many veterans to one that was chasing headlines to try to get more donors by being woke, but not by trying to help the veteran, but by trying to pad their pockets. And it kind of leaves that sour taste in all the veterans' mouths when they see that thing happen. But there's still those veterans that still chase those opportunities to try to get a T-shirt, get a bag, and get whatever trip they can from these organizations, but not really support them, but still wear their stuff.
Right. And if we look at that on a local level, no matter where you're at, Florida, Texas, Kentucky, it doesn't matter. When one of those VSOs get a black eye, it gives us all a black eye. Now the public in general is like, are they legit? It hurts us all, whether it's us or not. One VSO gets a black eye. We all get a black eye. And now we got to work harder. Now, and that's why I say if we work together, because now let's just say this 5 right here. If we work together, we keep each other checks and balance. Because I don't want you hurting me and I don't want to hurt you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So if somebody on the outside, like what happened today, gets a black eye, we can sit here and go, wasn't me, wasn't us. We're doing it the right way because our heart's in it. When you put money in it instead of your heart, you just lost. Again, correct. Nobody's mission statement says that we're out to help to get money. Nobody.
See,
right.
See, that's why I tell everybody's like, why don't I try to monetize my podcast? I'm like, no, because every time you hop on Instagram online, somebody's trying to get in your pocket and get money. Yep. Every time. Somebody's dropping their cash app, and I'm just like, hey, how about we just help people and not necessarily focus on trying to get paid? Unless you have an actual product to sell somebody, like I have a book to sell. But I don't get on and talk about always, hey, buy my book, because it ain't about me and always getting money, man. And that is the biggest issue. I mean, dude, there are thousands upon thousands of VSOs out there, man. So many, dude. And you literally, you have to do your homework. I'm a part of one, the Roy Williams Foundation out in Colorado. I like them. They do good work. I sit on the board. And I know these people and I trust them. But I mean, outside of that, it's just like, man, you just don't know because everybody, the veterans, we're like the poster child of help this poor child. Like the Feed the Children in Africa commercials back in the 90s. It's like that here in America now where it's like, help these poor veterans. And everybody, we're the biggest game in town and everybody's trying to get in on it. And I don't know if y'all also realize we've had a rise in for-profit organizations that have risen up as well, and lawyers and offices trying to help veterans, you know, get their benefits now as well, man. Yeah, that's become a major thing. That used to never be a thing. Yeah, now it's all over the place.
And Willis, to tell you, when I started my trip with this trailer, you know, I got a Warrior Rounds trailer. Everybody say hi to Charlie. He's so nosy.
Hey, tonight. Charlie. Hey,
Charlie. The trailer is mine. I decaled it. I went to Murfreesboro, Tennessee, and the gentleman that started Warrior Rounds, his name's JT Cooper. I went to his house, stole all his shit, his T-shirts, his CDs, his hats, and I travel around. I pay my bills at the first of the month from my little VA check and my little Social Security check. Whatever money I have left, then I see what events I can go to help represent Warrior Rounds. Now, there are organizations starting in April wanting me to come up and talk to their folks. And that's fine. I don't have a problem with that because what I found out is when I went out and started telling about Warrior Rounds, I told my story. And my story really kicked off. Willis can vouch for that. Yeah. People want me to come tell my story because if I can pull my head out of my ass from what I went through, then hopefully somebody in that 200-300 people crowd can do the same thing. And they're like, well, how much you charge for nothing? If you make a donation to Warrior Rounds, if I have to drive a couple hours and you buy my fat ass a cheeseburger, we're good. You don't pay me. I don't do it for the money. Yeah. When I go to shows and we collect donations for hats, T-shirts, CDs, I send the money to Murfreesboro. It's not my money. I don't want that money. That's not why I did this. And that's why Locally, we're working on some things around here, and I've told them all, look, I'm still new, but here's my rule. If I see or smell greed, I'm taking my toys, I'm going home.
Yep.
I cannot put the organization that I represent in any situation to get a black eye. And I'm not going to do it. I'm just not going to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, it's just we are working on things locally here in Kentucky, within my community here in Bullitt County, and Louisville, including that, and um, trying to get a lot of these organizations out there that don't mind working with other organizations, like a coalition of sorts. That way, if we get a veteran that comes in and they're dealing with this issue, then we can direct them to the right area, and that's something that's needs to happen.
Absolutely.
And I know with like Rich and Ty, you guys, when you bring in your people that you guys interview and stuff, you talk about their story and stuff like that, and I'm pretty sure you guys feel the same way we do. If we all work together as a collective, we can, even if it's just one veteran one day, that veteran's going to turn around and help somebody tomorrow, and then they're gonna, there you go. And so it just grows and expands. So,
and that's something we say here at the Misfit Nation. We always say reach one, each one. So if we can reach one veteran and teach them to go the right way, that'd be amazing. Where Ty is right now in Houston, Texas, there's an awesome center there, the Combined Arms Center. It has almost every VSO in Houston in the Combined Arms Center in East Downtown. I almost moved down there to work in that office. I think there's like 14 different VSOs just in that building that all work together to do great things. And I think that should be the blueprint for all communities.
Oh yeah,
I agree with you. I agree with you. Because again, if my organization can't fulfill what that individual or that individual family needs, if I've got a network, then I can reach out to you and say, hey, this is what they need. This is what they're seeking. You know what I mean? So let's give it a shot. Just because my organization can't help doesn't mean they're out of luck. Yeah, again, if we all work together, we can become stronger.
And you also got to think of the family aspect of it too, because if you were married during your service, and say you were over in Iraq, you got a wife and kids at home, you get blown up, IED, you lose a limb, and when you come home, you're not the same person that as you left. You're totally different when you come home. So you're dealing with your PTS, you're dealing with whatever might arise, addiction. Well, in turn, the family, the wife and kids are also dealing with that. And a lot of times families get overlooked. So there's a lot of organizations. What's up, Charlie? There's a lot of organizations out there that are now starting to focus on the family side of it as well. Because a lot of people don't realize that the kids and wife are still dealing with the PTS from the husband, and they have their own sort of PTS. So yeah, that's definitely so.
Well, we can look at it just like everybody hates that word cancer. It took me many years to get over mine, but while I was going through my cancer, it affected my entire family.
Yeah.
Yep.
And PTS does the exact same thing.
Yeah.
You don't come home the same person you left.
Yeah.
So everybody's expectation of what James is going to be when he comes home is the same guy James was when he left.
Yeah.
Well, it's not, and he's not. So therefore, it affects everybody that had that relationship with James before he left. Yeah. And there's so many out there. It's not just the veterans, it's their families as well, because they suffer too.
Yeah. Ty, you've been quiet.
Yeah. The resiliency that children have of military families is amazing. I deployed 7 times from Fort Campbell. I was at Fort Campbell, or 6 times from Fort Campbell, 1 from White Sands. So
Nice.
my children had to watch me leave 6 times
Mm.
from Fort Campbell. And then, of course, I got a divorce. I think everybody gets issued one when they're in the military, pretty much got a divorce. So the kids, of course, right, there you go, James, too. So the kids have to go through all that too. So not only are they dealing with just everyday stuff that they have to deal with, they're dealing with you leaving and not being there. And that's a huge vacuum in the nuclear family, is to have a parent gone, much less a parent gone and being in a combat zone for a year at a time like we were. Some were 15 months.
Yeah.
So I praise the resiliency of the kids. And then you're right, we're never going to be the same. I was in Kosovo when 9/11 happened. I don't think I've been the same since that happened. That was a pretty significant event. 9/11, that changes you. You realize your entire life and the career is going to change. So, and to get back to what you said before, us banding together, and people ask us all the time, how can we pay you? How can we donate to you? And we just say, we don't want any donations. If you want to buy a t-shirt, we co-brand with a bunch of other veterans. And half them, or a quarter of the money, goes to them. So we don't want any money either. So I know that I'm with the right group of people right now. First of all, y'all are from Kentucky. I know David is, at least.
Yes, sir.
And then James, you got a Kentucky hat on. I'm from Corbin, Kentucky. I just happen to be in Houston. So I love this group. I love what we're doing. I love all the different podcasts we have, and so I'm excited for what we can do together.
Yeah, I would agree with you, man. And I knew you were from Kentucky. And I tell you what, Corbin is a small town, home of KFC, Harlan Sanders. Gotta love some finger licking good chicken.
That's right.
But
don't sleep on it.
Yeah, right.
Don't sleep on.
But no, I think with doing this veteran roundtable. So all right, we got people listening and watching from all over right now. If you want to come on, you got a story to share, post a comment down here. And if you're with Misfit Nation or Triple Threat or Warrior Rounds, we'll get you on here and you can tell your story. That's what the whole purpose of this roundtable is to bring other veterans on, let them tell their story. I don't know if Dexter's still sitting there or he's on a call right now. But so yeah, if you want to jump on here and talk about things, if David Rubin, if you're on here and you want to jump on, let me know, man, and I'll throw you up here on the screen. Because I think what you're doing in Florida, Mr. Rubin, is amazing. And I think it's going to catch on and it's going to take the United States by storm. Because you don't focus just on veterans, you focus on, military or law enforcement, first responders, fire, EMS, medical, educators. So I think what you're going to do is going to take off like a wildfire.
And if you gentlemen that I haven't met before, if you see my podcast that I've done with Willis a couple weeks ago, and if I can reach out to your audience, just let Willis know. I'll be more than happy. Some folks say it's pretty powerful.
Yeah. So if you don't know James's, if you don't know James's story, I'm just going to give a brief synopsis. So James was with 10th Mountain during Black Hawk Down, Operation Gothic Serpent. He was part of that 17-hour gunfight. And his story, on a personal level, I'm not going to go into too much details. We'll leave that for when you guys have him on your podcast, because I know you want to. It's just, oh my God, man! I tell you what, it'll bring a friggin' tear to your eye, and just to see the resilience that this man have, where he still wants to go out and serve veterans in his community. It's just it blows your mind, because most normal people that don't serve in the military, with what he went through, they'd be sitting on the couch for the rest of their life until they die and wither away.
And that's where I was. That's where I was. I was absolutely on the couch. I have a nice bourbon collection right now, Willis, to tell you. I got about 156 bottles over there. I got about 9-10 more that are open. But I was an alcoholic. I was a bad alcoholic. I come home from Somalia. I buried my child, and I went through my first major divorce in 16 months. So I medicated myself with about a fifth of wild turkey gum every night. And then I cleaned myself up long enough to get custody of my other 2 children. I brought them down to Georgia. And then I went back to drinking. And I drank and I drank and I drank. And then we come up to the best year of my life, 2014. Got sick in July. October, I attempted suicide. December, Jesus Christ tapped me on the shoulder, asked me if I really wanted to die. So then the VA told me I had double pneumonia and acute myeloid leukemia. So it took me a few years to get over all that. And then Jesus Christ tapped me on the shoulder again. He goes, "Hey, still want to die?" "No, bud, I'm good." Now I'm going to get out here and run my damn mouth. And that's what I do.
Yeah. So definitely Ty and Rich, you might want to check into having him on your podcast, because I think he would be a good fit for you guys' show. So yeah.
Just give me a heads
that's
up.
gonna happen.
I can get my fluorescent Speedos cleaned up.
Oh crap! Oh please, yeah, pour it in. Just shake it for us. Shake it fast. That's it.
Oh man.
And
Oh,
other listeners, if you're out there, if I'm back in my studio, I'll put my phone number up on here for my studio. You can call in if you want to chat with us while you're on. You don't want it on camera. You can call into the show as well.
Cool.
yeah. Can they call you?
Yeah, they can call through my Google Voice, and I just put it through my soundboard.
Well, if you want to send it in your phone number that you have in private chat, I'll put it on here with the tip of the spear down here. That way they can call in. So yeah, if you're out there, you want to talk, you want to get on here and share your story or whatever's going on in your area of the country that you're in, feel free to jump on or send us a message, and we'll get you on here on the show. I'm gonna do some Googling here and see if I can find some other military topics. So what about these stress cards? I've heard about them, never seen them. Is it actually a thing in the military and boot camp and stuff like that?
I've never seen one in my 22 years in the Army or my 7 years out of it. I think it was one of those urban legend things.
So a myth.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think that's real at all.
Okay. Yeah, because I was like, I was in the Marines, boot camp '97, and I never heard of it. But then I heard, there was some, and I'm like, no, come on. So did y'all hear the story about the Marine down at Lejeune that killed 2 other Marines? Did y'all ever hear that story, or was that like a fade away in the news story?
It's probably
did not
covered
hear
up by
about
all the other noise now.
Okay. Let's see. I'm gonna see if I can find a news story. Let's see. Let's see. David Rubin says, how would you all discuss? Oh, that's a good question. How would you all describe becoming a civilian again? Ooh, that's a really good question. Todd, you want to start us off?
Yeah, absolutely. As far as the transition, I got out in 2017. I did not really want to get out. It was a medical early get out on medical. So I did 18 years and 7 months and then had to get out. So the transition for me was very difficult because from 2001 until 2011, it was a back-to-back deployment. And then after that, I was at Fort Polk. So the transition for me was very difficult. I think we do a lot this is something that I think it's Matt says on our podcast. We do a lot to teach people how to go into the military, but we really don't do much to teach them how to, decompress and come back out of the military. So whether it be, some simple things as how to do your job resume or whatever, that was the most difficult part, is the transition to become a civilian. I would describe it as painful, David. Painful.
Yeah. I would agree with you, Ty, man. I got out. So I got out the first time in 2001, August, right before 9/11. And I was in the process of talking to an Army recruiter, and I was going to go join the Army like most Marines do when we do our 4 years and some change in the Marine Corps. So, yeah, for me, transitioning, my plan was, all right, get out of the Marines, go in the Army, do my 20, and then retire, at whatever age I would retire at. 9/11 happened. I got involuntary recalled off of INR. It was the first time the Marine Corps ever activated the individual ready reserves. Got sent back to Lejeune, did my combat refresher training, and we lost Rich. So yeah, did all that, and so yeah, did all that. Sorry, I was reading the comment. Did all that, and then got out. Talked to the Army recruiter again. And during this time, it was when the military was downsizing and wasn't letting people re-enlist because of excessive tattooing. If you had tattoos below your elbow, they changed the policy. They wouldn't let you re-enlist. So a lot of my guys in my unit. A lot of guys, a lot of guys in my unit could not re-enlist. So got out of the Marine Corps, went and started talking to an Army recruiter again, had everything set up. I was going to go to Germany for 5 years, go from E5 to E6, $50,000 enlistment bonus. I was changing my MOS from infantry to telecommunications, and I got denied. I'm like, how is that possible to get denied when I have 2 honorable discharges? And my DD 214 says, hey, you served your country honorably, but you can't join the Army. And I'm like, what the fuck? So the doctor at MEPS, Louisville MEPS, said it was because I had asthmatic symptoms as a child. That's all they would tell me. I was never diagnosed with asthma, just had asthmatic symptoms. I was like, Doc, you let me join the Marine Corps. I have 2 honorable discharges. It was the same doctor. He goes, no, there's nothing I can do for you, man. Nothing I can do at all. And I took it all the way up to a full blown colonel over recruiting over the Eastern Seaboard, and still that doctor would not budge. So for me, when I was devastated because my path in life was to do 20 years in the military, and here I am being told, no, you can't do what you want to do. So I went down a rabbit hole, and it took me a little while to recover from that, but it was painful. Like Ty said, that you back then they didn't teach you how to transition out of the military. You did a debrief, and that was it. It was like a 1 hour, 2 hour debrief on how to try to reacclimate back to the civilian life. And unfortunately, with dealing with the PTS, dealing with medical issues, they don't prepare you for that. And unfortunately, back then, you didn't have people out there like Kentucky Valor and Indiana Vets and Mission Wisconsin that are out there helping transitioning military members become or get jobs in the civilian sector. So as of 2018, there was a federal law that changed where if you was telecommunications, well, then your job skill, however long you were in the military, would translate to the civilian sector. They didn't have that until 2018, and now your job skills will translate into the civilian sector. So that's a plus for a lot of veterans out there. Welcome back, DP.
My bad, fellas.
No, you're good, man. You're on the beat, man. So right now, David Rubin asked, this is his question. How would you all describe becoming a civilian again after your military service?
Man, but that was actually, it was a rough go, dude. And I tell people, I wrote about it in my book, but it was trying to figure out, like, you're taking off one uniform, and with that uniform off comes your identity. Like, because you're told what to do, what time to wake up, how to act, what to do, what to know. And all of a sudden, like, you don't have, your team leader yelling at you to get up and do PT in the morning, and you're just back in the world, but you don't know who you are, what you are, especially when you join at the age of 18, 19, like I did. You don't know anything about life, so you're just kind of trying to figure it out, man. I mean, I started going to college. I didn't like the college I was going to because I didn't identify with the young kids that were there, the teeny boppers, bro. So, and then I'm going to do physical therapy because I remember my therapist that helped me get better at Walter Reed. And then I was doing that, and I was like, man, I don't like this job. And then I was like, maybe business. And then I remember seeing the police commercial on TV, and I thought to myself, like, man, that kind of reminds me of the military. And that's actually how I ended up in police work, because it so much reminded me of the military mindset and the standards and the order that things were kind of in, and chain of command. So I joined the police force because it was a close second to being in the military, but as a civilian, man. But dude, it's hard. I feel very fortunate to kind of be doing what I'm doing and love it as much as I love it, because a lot of people, man, they struggle. I know guys that have been out for 15, 20 years and still haven't found that thing yet, dude. And that's the most important thing as a veteran. You got to find your next mission. And so many guys don't know what that next mission is, man. I'm very fortunate to have that mission.
James, what about you, sir?
Oh, it was, it sucked. It sucked. And of course, again, we go back to the first 16 months I was home. It sucked. It really did. And I don't, kind of like what DP was talking about. When you know what you're doing, you know what you're wearing, you know where you're going to be every single day. It helps out a lot. It really does. When you come over here and I'm from the civilian side of the world, you can basically do what you want when you want, but no matter how many family members you have around you, you still feel alone. You don't have that connection of those brothers and sisters that you had while you were in service, and it makes it hard on folks. It really does, because, a lot of people don't realize when they put you in basic training, let's just say one company got about 100 guys in. You bring all these 100 guys. We were in a cohort unit, so we all started out day one together, did our whole tour together at one unit up in Fort Drum. So you bring in 100 guys from across the country, you got to make these knuckleheads work together. So they break you all down at the same time, then they build you back up at the same time. And at the end of 3 years, okay, go about your own business. Wait, what the hell did you just say? Now, where's my 99 brothers at? Where they at? I don't have that. I don't have that support system that I had. Do I have a support system? Absolutely. I've got family. I got friends. I got people that love and care for me, but not like those guys did. And we'll never have that again. Yeah. So when they break you down and build you back up, when your time's done, they can't take that away. So a little piece of us through the rest of our lives, we're constantly searching for that support.
Yeah.
Where is that brotherhood? And that's why, as different VSOs, we can talk to each other. We can communicate with each other. Because I've known Willis, a couple months now. But I know he's got my back. He knows I got his back. He lives right on the road. Man, it don't take me no time to get there. And trust me, if he calls me and says, I need you here now, I'm bringing Hale with me. And he knows that.
Yeah.
And that's because, again, when they broke us down and built us back up, they built us back up to work as one.
Yeah.
And then when our time is done, the one is just us. I don't have that strong backbone that I used to have. I've got my independence. I've got my knowledge. I've got my training to fall back on, which I use all the time. But I don't have that brotherhood anymore. And that's what hurts so many people.
Yeah, so a veteran, once we take off that uniform, we lose that identity because the way we are trained, during boot camp, and the way we are conditioned, our brothers or sisters, can't leave the female veterans out. Our brothers or sisters are in that fighting hole with us, to our left, to our right, and we count on them daily. If I'm struggling with something, I had my buddy, always talk to him. But when you get out, you lose that sense of camaraderie that we had when we were in the military. What's that, DP? Did you say something?
Going with the internet freezing up. Anybody else have problems?
No, it might be just the area of town you're in. You sound good.
Look good, right?
Yeah. So yeah, we lose that camaraderie that we had when we were in the military, and then when you find that person that you clicked with that's a veteran, like I can walk into Walmart right now and say, "Oh, that guy's a veteran." My wife's like, "How do you know?" I said, "Just by the way he carries himself," and I could strike up a conversation with that guy and carry on for an hour long. And my wife's like, "Well, did you know that guy?" No, but he's a brother or she's a sister. Just because she served in the military, he served in the military, and that's something that civilians don't really understand. The camaraderie that we have as veterans, it's just crazy. It blows my mind. And civilians, a lot of civilians don't understand what we went through in the military, and the shit that we seen. I said this on a podcast not too long ago when we had Gunnery Sergeant Samuel Deeds on. Don't understand. Welcome back, Rich.
Thank you. Thank you, helpers.
Internet hell got you up there in the hotel, huh?
No, yeah, I think everyone came at the same time, got their internet on, surfing porn and stuff.
So what we were talking about, David Rubin asked, how would you all describe becoming a civilian again after getting out? You didn't get to tell your little bit on that. But let me finish my story, and then we can jump on you. So when I had Deeds on, I was 19 years old, and we were in Haiti. I saw a guy get drugged by a comm wire behind a vehicle. I seen other guys with burning tires on their body. I seen guys with their hands cut off. And we were told as a QRF that we couldn't interfere because that was their culture in Haiti. As a 19-year-old or 18, I can't remember, 18 or 19, that was the first time that I ever been outside of Kentucky, and to see that, they don't prepare you for that. So yeah, it's just crazy. So Rich, you want to answer that question because you didn't get to answer that question?
Sure. Going from being a platoon sergeant, team sergeant, then being on basically every mission possible, then all of a sudden getting out the next day. I stayed moving until the day I got out, really. And some people don't do that. They take that, I guess, that transition period. I didn't take the transition period correctly. I hit that wall pretty hard. And so for 365 days, I did nothing. I was on my couch drinking beer, hanging out with at that time I had only 2 dogs, 2.5 dogs at the time, so almost 3 dogs at that time. And I drink beer with them all day and apply for jobs, and because I knew I should have been getting hired, and I'd get notices saying, "Oh yeah, you're qualified, but you'll want too much money. You want too much money. We can't hire you." I never asked for any money. I never asked for anything. I just wanted a purpose. I wanted a job. So learning that part of the civilian world was different. And when I got the first job, 365 days after getting out of the military, I learned a whole other lesson. Working for a VSO in St. Louis, I thought it would be a great job and it'd be awesome because they were helping veterans and giving fellowships to veterans as they transition. But then as I got into the office, I realized that probably 60% of their workers there never served in the military, had no connection to the military other than the paycheck they're getting now to help veterans. And all their main mission was to earn that money and maybe talk to a couple of veterans a week and cry about their story and try to get money for that story. And it kind of soured me a little bit on the civilian world. So like I said earlier, I worked there 2 years, and then my first sergeant finally called me and said, "Hey, look, you want to work at Fort Campbell doing X?" I said, "Yes, I'll do it. Hell yes, I'll do it. I'll come back home and do that." So I went back to the borderlands between Tennessee and Kentucky. I live on the Tennessee side still, and I still train soldiers on Fort Campbell every day. That's my day job. It's a great job to have, and learning the civilian world, it's a different world. What in the military, you have checklists every day. You have things to accomplish. If I say, "Hey, Willis, do this," you're going to do it. If I say, "Cobb, do this," you're going to do it. Anyone you on the screen, I'll say, "Hey, do this job." They'll do it right then. In the civilian world, "Hey, do this." Oh, that's according to my matrix. According to my matrix, it takes 40 hours, so it's going to take me all week to do this. I can't get it done right now, and that just irks. That irks 99% of veterans that get out of the military. The I don't want to do it right now. I have all this time to do it. So that's something you got to get used to as you transition. You take them boots off and you go into the other side of the world.
Hey, Rich, do you know a Command Sergeant Major Gerald Counts?
Counts, was he in 2nd Brigade?
No, if I'm not mistaken, he was Division Sergeant Major there for a while. I think it's where he retired from.
I never worked with him then. If he retired there, I never retired. Never worked with him, I mean.
Where did that come from, James?
Because I remember he just said Campbell, and I remember my Sergeant Major went down there.
Okay.
Well, if it was in the early 90s, I would have never met him.
It should have been after that, though, about 95, 96, something like that.
Yeah, that's right when I first got there the first time. So 96 to 99 was my first time at Campbell, and then 10 to 13. So I probably just missed him.
Yeah, probably. So, all right, I'm gonna ask you guys something. So we just had over the weekend, we had a veteran suicide. Got him again. So we had recently a veteran suicide awareness fundraiser down at 21st in Germantown to bring awareness to the 22 a day. What we did there, we had 12 acts. They started at noon. And they got up on stage. Bring Rich back. So they got up on stage, and they sang a set. Everybody keeps on texting. Like I told you, my phone's blowing up today, people. But anyway, so they did their music. They played their music. James was there, and I tell you what, music and veterans. A lot of veterans listen to music before you go on a mission, before you do this or before you do this. And a lot of times the music, depending on what mood you're in, is what type of music you listen to. So the healing aspect of music is something that can touch your soul pretty quickly, depending on what type of music it is, what type of mood you're in. We're getting ready to start a musical podcast. I'm not going to host it. I got another veteran and Marine veteran in Louisville. We're partnering with Talents and Louisville Local Entertainment, and we're going to start a music podcast focusing on veterans and the bands that they're in and stuff like that from across the country. I think it'll be really good because veterans, like I said, military members in general, we love music, and you can hear a certain song, like "Fortunate Son." If you hear "Fortunate Son," what do you automatically think of?
Vietnam,
yeah. So a lot of music, depending on what era, there's certain songs within that era that makes you think of different eras of military conflict or military service in general. So, but it also has a very big healing effect as well. So, what about you, DP? Go ahead, Ty.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No,
Yeah.
go ahead, Ty.
With the music thing, I store my emotions in music. So if I hear a song, I will forget an event that happened, if I hear a song that we played maybe before a mission, post mission, getting ready for a mission, all that shit starts flooding back. So I want to be a part of that music podcast. I'll do anything you need. I'll sweep the floor for you, David.
Nice. Yeah, we definitely could use you on that because I'm going to
I
be
got
kind of
you.
behind the scenes on that. I'm gonna let Bill run with it. It's going to be his show. It's going to be called Distorted Static, and a lot of veterans can understand what that means. Just because the music that you listen to, and it puts you in a daze pretty much. So you're basically distorted. So DP, when you were out doing missions and stuff like that, what type of music did you listen to?
So I'm gonna be the guy that's gonna be weird. So I don't currently listen to a lot of music. The only time I listen to music is when I go running. Never been a real big music guy, but there were artists from 2004 that I remember, like Kanye West, and I remember a lot of guys were digging on Red Hot Chili Peppers back then, and Disturbed, or Let the Bodies Hit the Floor. I remember all that stuff, that music from my era. When I do hear it, it does take me back. But asking me now, dude, I literally don't listen to really any much music anymore. I'm literally, anything I listen to now is mostly podcast oriented or audio books about military service and such. And I don't know where it comes from, but music now just really doesn't do it for me unless it's really stuff from my era when I was in war. I don't really listen to it, man, which is weird. Everybody's like, "How do you not like music?" I'm that guy, bro. I just weird. I can't explain it. I don't know.
I got you.
But fellas, I'm gonna have to hop off here because I got some other duties I gotta attend to, man. I tried to go on. Hey,
thanks for protecting and serving us, man.
Hey, man, I appreciate y'all bringing me on to be a part of this thing. I told you I just got a little mom and pop podcast. Nothing special, man. But anytime somebody recognizes me and what I'm doing, and they try to bring me into the fold, I am absolutely grateful because there's plenty of other people you could have reached out to. And man, thank you for reaching out to me to be a part of this, man.
Hey,
hopefully
you're
on
welcome.
The next one I won't be having to work. So,
all right. So we're planning. So it's going to be one a month. I was thinking either November 15th or November the 29th. Just we got to line out the details when everybody's available. So
okay.
That's probably one of those 2 days, the 15th.
Are those Wednesdays? Because I always work Wednesdays. I'm only off Mondays and Tuesdays. So.
Well, we can switch it up if we can do a Tuesday if people are available. So we'll switch it up if we can make it happen for you.
Awesome, but I definitely want to be a part of this group, man. Great group of guys here.
Yes, sir.
My veterans, man. So definitely want to be a part.
Hey, we need to get together soon, me and you.
Yes, sir. I ain't going nowhere. I'll be around here, brother.
All right. Well, I'll shoot you my phone number later, and that way we can connect.
All righty.
All right, brothers. Be safe out there. All right.
Y'all have a good one. Y'all be safe. Take care.
Yes, sir, brother. Later. So yeah, I forgot that he was local to Louisville. Somebody recommended me to reach out to DP and because he does a podcast, and they knew that I did a podcast, and they're like, he's a super cool cat. And after looking into him, like I always do, I always research people, vet them. I was like, yeah, he's definitely somebody that I need to reach out to and have on, especially because he is law enforcement. He is a veteran. So he's got a wide knowledge base talking about current events and stuff like that. So thank him for coming on and sharing his time with us and why he's out there doing what he's doing. Check his podcast out. It's called I Am Pitts. He's also got a book out there. Check his book out if you want and go from there. Rich, I know you got things to do, man.
Yes, sir.
How much more time you got?
I got about a minute and a half.
All right. So, yeah, let's just go ahead and wrap it up for the night. Now, can you guys, Ty and Rich, do y'all have the option to play your sponsors and stuff like that?
On here, no, not when you're leading the show.
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what we're going to have to do is get together and come up and either send them to me and what I plan on doing with this is like I'm hosting it this time. Ty and them could host it next time. Rich next time. That way everybody has an option to share their stuff, or we can just send it to one person, do it that way. However we want to do it. And then if you guys know any other veteran podcasters out there that you would think would be good for the fold, bring them on. The more the merrier, the more conversation that we can have, the better. And let's just work together, man. That's what this is all about.
I think a lot of the good things we can do is if we have, like, I've had Sergeant Major Woodring, who was on our podcast last week. We've had Drew Hernandez. When we get some of those like bigger following of people,
Yeah.
I always like steering them towards wherever they're at locally, because Drew is big on VFWs. He's trying to get our generation, to come back into the fold of the VFWs. So with our podcast linking up and kind of creating some synergy. I love what we do on our podcast, but literally, I sit here and listen to y'all talk for the last hour and 10 minutes. Y'all's story could literally be our story. We do it for the camaraderie. We do it, because of the Silva service of the first responders. That's what Got Your Six Culture is all about. With Matt and Becky Johnson, they literally make T-shirts that benefit all these police and fire department organizations. So I'm so proud that we're in Kentucky, we're in Texas. I don't know exactly where you're at, Rich, but wherever we are, I know that this is going to be good. So we're definitely in for it.
Definitely.
Awesome.
Same here. I'm in based out of Clarksville, Tennessee now. Right now I'm in New Jersey for this funeral, but definitely.
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so I definitely believe we can grow this and make it work for the entire community, and it'll be awesome. My song that I would listen to before every patrol was "Rooster" by Alice in Chains.
Nice.
Oh, good one.
Because they'll never get me, and I play that every time. And then my platoon would always play Jay-Z, "We Run This Town" right before we went out. And we all just had slap hands and go, slap hands and go out.
Slap hands.
But brothers, I gotta jump. My family's here banging on the door. It's been great. I'll see you next month. Let's keep this thing live.
Yes, sir. Let's do it. Peace out.
All right, brothers.
Have a good
So
one.
James, what kind of music did you listen to back then?
What?
Yeah, you.
Old country, baby. What you talking about? I listen to everything. Really, I listen to everything. It just depends on my mood. But I was raised on old country. Mama raised us in church, so there was a lot of gospel music as well. That's where I learned to play a little bit of guitar, But, I tell folks all the time, because Warrior Rounds, of course, is based around that music scene. And I don't believe that there's an adult alive today on this earth that music hasn't touched them at least one time, helped them through one situation. It doesn't matter what genre. It doesn't matter what year it was. If you're walking the face of this earth today, music has helped you at least one time in your life. It's therapy. It's a God-given therapy.
Yeah.
So the more we utilize that, the more we utilize that, the more that we can help other folks.
Yeah, for sure.
And again, it doesn't matter what genre. It doesn't. There's folks out there in every genre that would be more than willing to step up to help a veteran in need.
Yeah.
All we have to do is band together in order to reach out to those folks and say, hey, look, I need your help. I got a veteran over here. Hey, absolutely. Boom. I met two really, really good rappers last weekend.
Yeah.
And they are both like, dude, we're in.
Yeah.
There's rock groups, there's heavy metal groups, there's country groups, there's solo artists. Everybody's lining up to say yes.
Yeah.
We will donate our time and our talents to help these veterans and or their families. And that's what we need to do. We need to take advantage of it.
Oh, yeah, for sure. So for me, I listen to like Metallica, Enter Sandman, Machine Head, Bulls on Parade. Those were songs that I listened to. Like I grew up on 70s, 80s, 90s country. But I listen to all genres, minus classical and real heavy metal. Now I like Rob Zombie and White Zombie and all of them. But when it comes to the heavy distorted stuff, I'm not a big fan of. But music has always been something that can soothe my nerves, my anxiety. If I'm in a really good mood, most of the time I'm listening to 80s and 90s country. If I'm in a really pissed off mood, then I'm playing my Metallica, my AC/DC, and music like that. And then if I'm in just a lackadaisical kind of mood, I listen to reggae. Some Bob Marley, some Ziggy, and good old music like that. So music is definitely healing, and that's why we're planning on doing these musical concerts next year. We got a few planned that we're working on. So I'm super excited about all that and stuff. So yeah, it's going to be 2024 is going to be a wild ride, let me tell you. And I think like we said earlier, if we all band together, we can make shit happen. So I'm stupid excited about that. So
Yeah, it's going to be awesome.
yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, I think our time is winding down for the night. We've been on here talking and bullshitting and having a good old time. So, got anything else, Ty, before we go?
No. Just let me know if you want me to host next time, and I'll use the same graphics. We'll create some graphics. I got no problem doing that, and we'll make this freaking awesome. Just like I
Awesome.
know we will.
Go ahead and promote your podcast real quick.
Triple Threat Vets podcast. We're on Thursday at 8 p.m. Central. We're a podcast with 4 veterans that talk about stuff that veterans want to talk about. We want mental health awareness. We want to be able to talk about that stuff. But what we want more is for people to get out there and actually do something. Something that we always bring up is music. We bring up music. We bring up getting involved with your local VFWs, getting involved with any type of veteran service organization that fits you. Because we're going to throw about 1 million tools at you. And if 5 or 6 of them take, then we've done our job. So with the synergy that we're going to create from all these 4 or 5 different podcasts, I can only imagine we'll have 3 or 4 million different tools from different regions of the country. It's going to be great. So I'm excited.
If you ever want me on there running my mouth, Mr. Ty, just get a hold
of
me.
I don't know if y'all saw me look down. I've been taking notes. I'm going to call you, James. I want to get you on very soon, sir. So I will give you plenty of lead time, but yeah, I want to get you on very soon, and I think we're coming on the home front sit rep next week.
Yes,
the week after.
When are you guys going to be on? Let's.
I know it's coming up soon. It popped up on my calendar.
You guys are Monday the 30th. We will be live with you guys. Yeah,
I'm excited.
I'm excited about that. James will probably be in studio with me that day. So a little bit of things have gone on, and we're working on them on this end, and just got a lot of things going on right now, and we just got to keep on pushing forward, and that's all we can do, man. And here's something before we go. The stigma right now within the veteran community, everybody looks at veterans as we're broken. We're not broken. We have our faults. Yes, don't get me wrong. Everybody has faults. But civilians looking at us, they're like, oh, well, that veteran's broken. No, the veteran's not broken. He might need a reset, or she might need a reset, but they're not broken. James, Ty just put his number in there for you.
Yeah, James, give me a text after this, and we'll link up, man.
Yes, sir.
Go Big Blue.
What's going on, Waldo?
Well, I'm 52, and I of course, I was born and raised in Kentucky. I lived in New York for 5 years, but I've lived in Georgia on and off for 25 and a half years. So over half my life has been in Georgia. So the worst football game of the year for me is when Kentucky plays Georgia.
Oh, yeah, no doubt.
Because I have to root for Georgia, but then I feel obligated to root for Kentucky too, And every time I meet
didn't help this year.
Yeah. And then every time I meet an Ohio State fan, I have to thank them for the last year's championship. I just have to do it. So any Ohio State fans out there, thank you very much. Appreciate you missing that field goal.
Oh, man.
Hey, shout out to Waldo Fuentes. That's one of the guys that I served with in Afghanistan in 2010 with the 2nd Engineer Battalion. He was part of the FSC company. Pretty awesome guy. 25 uniform or Bravo. I don't remember which one, but he was an awesome guy to serve with. Thanks for watching.
Man, you
Nice.
got young.
They
Yeah.
are young.
Yeah, they are. I mean, he's I think he might be almost 40. Almost.
Okay. We're a little bit younger than you, James. Just a little bit.
Well, let's see. If he's say 40, I was 12. I was just figuring out that girls don't have cooties.
Nice.
Yeah, I
nice.
knew you were right around 40. Yeah, we served together in Afghanistan, so appreciate you watching.
Well, thanks for coming on, Waldo. We're planning on doing this once a month for everybody that's watching this. We're not going to pick a certain day, but we're going to do it once a month. It's going to be Tip of the Spear Veterans Roundtable. If you want to get on and come on, talk about what's going on in your community, reach out to either Ty or Rich or James, myself, or I Am Pitts. Reach out to us. You can find us on either Triple Threats Vets page, Homefront Sit Reps page, the Misfit Nation show, or I Am Pitts. Reach out to us. We'll get you on. I think next month, I got a guy, William Kreisman, who is a clinical therapist. He works at Fort Knox, so he's embedded in the unit at Fort Knox. So he's a civilian, but he's embedded at Fort Knox, and he does the therapy sessions and stuff with active duty military. I think it's called a FEMLAC or something like that. It's something new that the Army has started where they embed civilians into the unit as therapists and stuff. So we're going to have him on. Then we might have a retired Colonel Carl Truman, who's a lawyer here locally in Louisville, Kentucky. He does a lot for the veteran community. So I've talked to him earlier today. He wants to come on and talk, and if we keep building it and building the community, I think it could be something amazing. So I'm super excited. So, but anyway, you guys, I'm gonna jump off here. Or let's close it down and have a good night. And like I always say, guys, stay safe out there, and we got your six. So other than that, y'all got any questions about anything?
I'm good.
No, good first show.
Yes, sir. Good first show. Y'all have a great night.
All right, have a good one.
See you.
Thanks for listening. Suggestions and comments are always welcome.
Discrimination will never be tolerated.
Cannot wait to have another great show with you all.
Don't forget, you can find us on Apple, Amazon, Spotify,
or wherever you get your favorite podcast. Stay safe out there. We got your six.